2, 1. We are live.
Hi, good evening, everybody, especially to viewers and Bhuvi. Um, this evening, we're excited to have this session, and especially Bhuvi would be leading the session, and she would take us to, I believe, into a different world. And there are a number of teachers who joined now and would be also joining a bit later. However, looking into that, we would start on time, so we began. First of all, thank you, Puvi and Center, for conducting this session. I believe before it could conclude itself, I can say it's a wonderful session because I had a glimpse of it in the past. We had as core group members, we did watch what is exactly I did also did some little homework about yours and all those things in the past. In fact, I should say that it's a wonderful session for teachers, and I believe they would enjoy it. A little bit about Purvi, and she, of course, right now she's there, and you can see her. She's a business development associate at CENTA. Prior to this, she was like any one of us as a teacher, maths and science. She worked at Pune. I know very well Pune. I worked 10 years there, so I know very well Pune. And she worked at Pune, and then later she joined here, and she's here again with this center. And something about today's special session is especially for these Bangalore schools. I mean, across Bangalore, of course, uh, Bangalore Sahodaya member schools. This is in association with the center. And this seminar, especially or webinar, is especially focused on one should how to go about preparing the center, teaching professional Olympiad. That is 2021. They would all explore the major elements of this international competition for teachers, including the test tracks and syllabus, format, types of questions. How, in fact, I'm excited about the prize. They would give that. It's a big prize. I saw that. It's a huge amount, in fact, and it's good to compete across the world as a teacher and get something good and useful about it. And something about Centa. In fact, I browsed through and also got information that, and they have been helping the public sector, private sector, especially training the teachers, trainers, and bringing out their talents and also bringing out their skills, developing their skills. And it's amazing to hear from them that half a million teachers they have been working and serving from across 6,000 cities, towns, and villages. Great job, in fact. 30,000 actively engaged teachers. And in fact, they're also working internationally, UAE, Philippines, Nigeria, Bangladesh. It's amazing that they're doing a wonderful job. We should appreciate these people for this noble cause, what they are doing it. Uh, Great indeed, and I'm sure what they are going to do. Surely they will, take the teachers into a different world and make them to be aware and bring their talents. In fact, you are trying to, encourage them or bringing out the uniqueness what they have it. So, welcome to Povi and team, and to this platform. Uh, and on behalf of our Bangalore Sahodaya members, schools, and also core group members and all the members, we welcome you and wish you all the best. Thank you. And I'm sure that, towards the end, they would say, yes, sir, what you said is true. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anil Kumar, sir. That was such a lovely introduction, and thank you so much for all the kind words you said about CENTA. We're very excited to be doing this in association with Bangalore Sahodaya, and I myself am super excited for this session. So I'll begin immediately because we have only an hour and I want to finish on time. So good evening, everyone. Namaskar. And I can already see a lot of comments on the screen. So hello to everyone out there. I can see there's Raina Singh, Supreet Kaur, Preeti Varshne, Vidya BS. Good evening, all of you. And I would love if all of you keep commenting throughout this session. That will help us to know that, okay, you're there, you're engaging with us. And if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to use the chat, the comment section as much as possible and share your thoughts with us. Would love to hear from where everyone is joining. So you all can just put that down on the chat. It may not be possible to acknowledge everyone's comments, but we'll try our best. So I'll start off immediately. Uh, Sir has already introduced me. I am Purvi. I work as a business development associate with CENTA. Prior to this, I was a teacher, like many of you here. And I'm currently leading most of the school facing initiatives at CENTA. So this is even more exciting for me because many of you who are joining us today, hopefully, if you wish to engage with CENTA, I'll probably get to interact a lot more with you all in the coming days and the months. So really excited. And with that, let's start off. I'll be sharing my screen. It would be great if uh, Sir could let me know when you're able to see the screen. If the screen is visible, just let me know. Takes a while to come up. My internet can be a bit slow. Is it visible to everyone? Can
Yeah,
someone comment?
it's yes, yes. Orientation session
Okay.
and BSc, yes, yes, correct, yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, sir. And great. I can see someone is joined from Mumbai as well. Awesome. Okay, let's begin then. Thank you, Sanya, for commenting that it's visible. So I'd like to welcome everyone here to the orientation session, which we are doing for the Teaching Professionals Olympiad, CENTA Teaching Professionals Olympiad, in association with Bangalore Sahodaya. And this is a very, very special session indeed, because in this we are going to walk you through what the TPO is. TPO is just Teaching Professionals Olympiad. We call it in short. So don't get confused if you hear the term TPO. It's just Teaching Professionals Olympiad. So I'll take you through what the CENTA TPO is, how you can prepare for it, and what are the things you will need to do, what are the kind of questions that come in this exam, what are the prizes that you can win. So I'll try and take you through all of it. And but before that, let me tell you a little bit about CENTA and what we do. So CENTA, as Sir has already introduced us with his very kind words, we are a registered certification trademark, and our primary job is to certify teachers and school leaders based on their competencies. So why is it that we're doing this? Well, our organization was founded with the vision of making teaching aspirational. Now, making teaching aspirational is a pretty big vision, I mean, but how do we go about it? How do we actually make it happen? So the way we do it is through certifications. Like I already mentioned, we certify teachers on their competencies. We are a registered certification trademark, which gives us the power, you can say, to certify teachers. And for this, we have got a nationally benchmark score called the Teaching Quotient, which is also part of the Teaching Professionals Olympiad, which many of you will be taking, hopefully. And this score is basically used for teachers to get rewards, recognition. So, those of you who will be taking part in TPO might go on to qualify for the finals. And when you've qualified in the finals and probably you win, you come in the top 10 in the city or top 3 in the country. So, you get prizes, you get rewards and recognition. And the idea is that you are able to leverage this recognition for your career growth. Now, when you actually leverage this for your career growth, what we hope is that it will drive you to learn and to become better at what you do, that is teaching. This will create a pull for professional development for teachers, and that will be driven not by a school or a school leader saying that, okay, you should take this training or you should take this certification, but rather by the teacher's own motivation. The teachers will be so motivated that they will want to invest in their own training and development, thereby making teaching an aspirational career, leading to more certifications, and thereby, basically, we are creating this sort of virtuous cycle. And hopefully, at the end of it, we will have a lot more respect for teaching as a career there already is a lot of respect for teachers, but generally we want more and more people, talented people, to come into this profession, to take it up as a vocation, and to really be motivated in their professional development. So, when we are creating all this drive for learning, this pull for professional development, we hope that it will create motivated, competent, and effective teachers who in turn go on to improve the quality of education in the country in a very self sustained manner. So, the overall goal is obviously to kind of improve the quality of education in the country, thereby engage in nation building. But how we do it is we focus primarily on teachers, school leaders, and on their professional growth. We ensure that they become motivated, self driven individuals who are engaging in professional development actively and not just passively. And thereby, they go on to improve the quality, their own competencies, and their own skill set, and increase, hopefully, improve the quality of education in the country. So, this is the idea behind CENTA. Uh, I'll next go on to my agenda for today. I think I would have given all of you a fair idea of what CENTA is, what we do. If you have any more queries about what we do, you can, of course, go on to our website, centa.org. We also, before I move on to the agenda, there's one last thing I'd like to mention is our online community of teachers, which is called My Center, in which we have got more than 5 lakh teachers actively engaging in various resources, learning resources. We've got webinars, master classes, and there are forums and discussions. So a lot of teachers actually use my center on a daily basis and engage with us for various activities on my center. Many of you who would have registered for today's webinar would have also gone on my center to do the registration. So my center is also something, if you haven't had a look at it, we'd encourage you to go check it out later. It's just n.centa.org. My team will put the link in the chat box for those of you who'd like to check it out later. Next, let's move on to the agenda for the day. We are keeping it very simple. First, I'll take you through the overview of the Teaching Professionals Olympiad, or the TPO prelims. We'll be focusing more on the prelims today because the prelims is what's happening right now, immediately. The finals, we can, of course, cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll deal more about the finals later. But today, our session will be focused very much on the prelims. So we'll be talking about the prelims format for those of you who would like to take part in it, how to prepare for it. We also have a new school leaders track. I understand that many teachers as well as school leaders are participating in today's program. So we have a track especially dedicated to school leaders now, about which I'll be talking a little bit more during the course of this webinar. And lastly, I've got some practice questions for all of you who are confused as to what type of questions are asked. Okay, I know what kind of questions to ask my students, but what am I going to be asked in the TPO? I don't know. So we've got some sample questions for you, which we'll go over in the last part of the webinar. And for the last part, I'd love if all of you would participate, engage, and actually, ask us your questions, tell us your answers to the questions. That would be really interesting to hear. Okay, so moving on to the first part, that is the TPO overview. We've got we have been doing this for 7 years now, and this is our 7th edition. It's an international teaching competition for teachers, the CENTA Teaching Professionals Olympiad. And over the course of last 7 years, we have evolved considerably, and now we are a completely online. This test is completely online, and all of you can take it from wherever you are in the world. So, and this has been made possible by all our various partners whose logos you could see on the screen. Why would you want to take this? This is, of course, something, if you are interested in the TPO, There are various prizes and benefits associated with it. Of course, we have got cash rewards for the top winners. Then we have got some media recognition for the teachers in schools who win this competition. We've got premium training opportunities with Oxford University Press, and there are a lot of other perks and benefits that teachers as well as school leaders will get. For example, if a school is participating in the CENTA TPO and all their teachers are participating, they'll get the scorecard. Of course, every teacher gets a scorecard which is completely personalized and also tells the teacher what are the different themes on which they and how they have scored on each of these different themes. So that is for every test taker. But if a school is participating, especially, you get access to all your teachers uh, data, aggregate data, which will enable you to also kind of analyze what are the training needs of the teachers, how you can work together with them for the professional development. So there are various perks for teachers as well as schools who participate in this. Okay, somebody has written the images are not clear. Would you, I'd recommend maybe improving the setting, going to the settings and improving the picture quality to a higher resolution that will enable you to see the pictures clearly. So for anyone who is not able to see the slides very clearly, please change the settings on your device to ensure a higher resolution. Okay, so we'll move on. And we have also got digital badges and certificates for all of you who participate. So anybody who scores above 50 in the prelims, you get a digital badge, which you can actually put on your resume. It's digitally encrypted, so you can share it with people. And that will be a great add-on to resume and help in your professional development. So let's move on to what are the things, the top things that you need to know about the CENTA Teaching Professionals Olympiad. The first thing that you should know is that it is fully online. So it doesn't matter where you are in the country or the world, you can take it as long as you've got a device with an internet connection. The pandemic has really propelled us towards becoming fully online. So you can take it from anywhere and you can take it in the comfort of your own home. The next point is that it's two-stage competition. So the first stage are the prelims. So if you are taking part in the CENTA TPO 2021, then you will be able to take up the prelims up till December 31st, with the finals being in Jan of 2022. So CENTA TPO 2021 finals will be held in Jan 2022. The date has already been set. It is 30th Jan 2022. So you can actually register for the TPO and choose a slot that is most convenient for you. We offer you different options. So you can choose which timing, which date would be most convenient for you. You can choose. But if you want to qualify for the finals, which are happening in Jan of 2022, you must give the prelims before December 31st, 2021. Of course, if you choose to give it in the next year, that is next calendar year of 2022, you will be able to qualify for, you still have the chance of qualifying for the finals, which happen in Jan of 2023. So it's basically on a rolling basis. If you are interested in participating in this year's TPO, registrations close tomorrow. So I know it's just very soon to decide whether you want to take up the TPO, but if you want to register for TPO 2021, the only last day to register for it is tomorrow. So all of you who are just who haven't been able to make up your mind whether you want to take it up this year or next year, I think it's crucial that you decide today and hopefully register for it tomorrow. But take your time. There's a fee associated with it as well, which is we have, because of the pandemic, we are offering it at a discounted rate of 950 plus GST. So you can decide whether you want to take it up this year or the next. But it would be great if you all decide to take it up this year, and tomorrow would be the last day to register for it then. The next point is that it's completely international. So we have got people not only from India participating, we have also got people from Nigeria, Ghana, Philippines, UK, UAE participating. So you will get to compete and test your competencies not just against peers from your own country, but from all over the world. So it's a very, very good platform in which you can actually see where you stand. So that would be really interesting, if you want to see, okay, I'm great at my school, I know I'm teaching my students well, but I'd also like to see where I stand in the world. So maybe you can, this would be a great platform for you to kind of see that for yourself. Little bit about the logistics. It's a 2-hour test for the prelims. Like I said at the very beginning, we are focusing solely on the prelims in this session. So the prelims are for 2 hours, in which there are 50 MCQ, multiple choice questions, and along with that, there are also 2 short videos. The 2 short videos are to test for your verbal communication skills. As a teacher, I'm sure all of you would know how important it is to communicate with our students, especially in the time of pandemic. You would have seen how difficult it's become to communicate with them in an online mode. So verbal communication is a very, very important part, and earlier it was actually not a part of TPO, but we realized that it's crucial for a teacher's skills or competencies to be testing for this particular skill, that is verbal communication. So we have, from last year, we have added this to our test. So during the 2-hour test, please remember it's a continuous test, so you cannot get up and leave the test within those 2 hours. It's proctored remotely, and you will have to sit for the entire duration of 2 hours. 1.5 hours will be spent on the MCQs. The last half an hour is spent on 2 short videos. It typically is between 3 to 5 minutes long. So you will have to sit for 2 hours, finish the MCQ part, then move on to the video part, finish those, and then submit your test. Okay, I can still see some people are saying the images are not clear. Again, I request you to increase the resolution on your screen. You should be able to go to the settings and change that. And move on to the next part. We've got 24 subject tracks. So we have got, somebody might be teaching English, somebody might be teaching math, somebody might be teaching social studies, Hindi. So whatever your different subjects you teach, we've got a track for each of them, and we've got 24 different subject tracks that you can take it up in. Also, depending on which grade you teach, suppose I teach secondary physics, I can take up the test in secondary physics. Somebody else teaches middle school English, they can take it up in middle school English. So we've got a lot of options that caters to all the different kinds of teachers, especially the school leader track as well, about which I'll be talking later. So we've got a lot of different subject tracks that you can choose from. Depending on which subject and grade you teach, you can select the track that is most appropriate to you. Okay, so now the TPO, I'll just spend a few minutes on this slide to give you a fair bit of understanding about what goes behind and how we, continue to keep it relevant. As you know, the world is constantly evolving. In the last 1 year, we have seen so many changes taking place. We've moved to an online mode of teaching, then to a blended mode of teaching. Many of you would be teaching your kids through mobile phones or through computer screens now. So a lot of things have changed. And as the education landscape changes, as the situation changes, we also constantly keep evolving. So we incorporate feedback regularly from various stakeholders that we are constantly in touch with. And for example, the verbal communication aspect, which I spoke about, which was earlier not a part of TPO and now is one of those examples how we have evolved. So it's very, we cater to what the market or what the schools need right now, right? So we are not, it's not something you just take up and, you forget about it and it has no relevance in your life. No, the CENTA TPO is meant to improve the teaching competencies and to help you in your professional growth. So we keep it very relevant to what the times are like, what the circumstances and demands are like. We also, in a very balanced approach, cover the entire syllabus. So you already saw we have various tracks. You can access the syllabus of the different subject tracks on the CENTA website. So you can go see the syllabus for yourself. We are the competencies that you're being tested on are not just your subject expertise or content knowledge, but we are also checking your pedagogical skills, your verbal communication skills. So we are trying to have a very balanced and holistic syllabus that caters to every possible requirement, right? We are also completely aligned with the new education policy 2020. So the national education policy, which came out in 2020, we are completely aligned with that. All our standards are 100% aligned with the NEP. In fact, we started doing this in 2015, 5 years before the NEP came into force. And we are also very much aligned to the changes that have taken place in the CTET. So we keep all of these changes happening in the ecosystem in mind when we design the test, and that is why it's very relevant and widely accepted and recognized. Now, I've told you that the test is happening in an online environment. So we do video proctoring remotely. Now, how the proctoring happens is there are multi-layered proctoring in this test. For example, one is, of course, AI based, that is artificial intelligence based proctoring, which the system does. So before you actually take up the test, you will be sent a list of instructions Okay, if you're able to see me and hear me now, can you please text on the chat and let me know? Because I think I lost my connection there for a bit. Many people have written that they are not able to hear me. Okay. It would be great if you're able to hear me. Just write that you can hear me in the comments. Okay. Thank you, Lata Yadav, for commenting that you can hear. Great. So I'll continue. Okay. Thank you, Supreet Kaur Vidya. Okay. So I was talking about the proctoring. You will be actually there will be video proctoring, which is AI enabled, artificial intelligence enabled, and that is why we send you all the list of instructions in a mail. Please read the mail very, very carefully. In that, it will be mentioned that you cannot get up from your seat or look here and there, because that way the system automatically will submit your test even before maybe you're finished answering it. So please make sure you're sitting in a well-lit place where you're free from all sort of distraction, and you're not looking here or there, and you're not looking in another device or notebook, or you're just getting up and leaving in the middle of the test, because that way your system will automatically submit your test. Other than that, of course, we know that human intervention is required, so we also do online, we remotely proctor all the tests, but it's a many to one proctoring, so one person may be proctoring at least 10-20 different people at the same time. So that is how we carry on the test. Please make sure, again, I'm repeating myself, all these instructions about how you should be sitting during the test, or what you should be doing during the test, will be sent on the email that you get before the test. So go through it. The next point about digital badges, the whole idea about the CENTA TPO is to celebrate teachers, to recognize their achievements. And we know that everyone cannot go on to win the national competition or the international competition and come in the top 5,000. But what we can do is we want to recognize each one's achievements, and how we do that is through the digital badge. So if you actually get a good score on your TPO, that means you're a good teacher, that means you're a competent teacher, and irrespective of whether you qualify for the finals or win a prize in that, we will recognize this achievement by giving you a digital badge. So it doesn't really matter. Of course, it's a competition, and yay, we'll all love competitions. But the fact that it's a competition shouldn't stop you from taking part. Because even if you don't qualify for the finals, even if you don't win a cash reward, you will get an objective insight into your own competencies. And if you are a competent teacher, in, it will act as an incredible boost for your own confidence. So please make sure you do go ahead and still take up the TPO. Even if you're feeling nervous, don't worry. If you get a good score, you get a digital badge and you still get recognized. So, of course, we are doing all of this. Ruby Kumari has asked registration fee for the test. As I've already mentioned before, I'll repeat again. There is a registration fee. Earlier it was 1500 plus GST, but now because of the pandemic, we understand everybody is going through a difficult time. So we are offering it at a discounted rate of 950 plus GST. But there is an additional discount for all the teachers who are coming through Bangalore Sahodaya. So we'll be giving you a further discount, and we'll be offering you at 750 plus GST. So I would really urge all of you to make the best use of this opportunity and go and register for the BSSC CENTA TPO, because you can get it at a further discounted rate of 750 plus GST. Now, I'll just quickly come to the last point, which is the support from the school for a positive impact. We actively work with a lot of schools who are using the CENTA TPO to recognize the achievements of the teacher and to celebrate them. And for all the school leaders out here who are taking part in today's webinar, as well as who will be participating in the TPO moving forward, it would be great to have your support, and it would be lovely if you would encourage all your teachers to participate in the CENTA TPO. It will not just act as a huge motivation for all your teachers, but it will also enable you to get a very good understanding of what your teachers' needs are, what their competencies are, and so on. Okay, so now I'll quickly go on to a little bit of housekeeping. I'll basically go into the schedule infrastructure requirement, which all of you should know before the test, because on the day of the test, we get a lot of really confused and anxious calls. Oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, did I need a front camera for this particular test? I didn't know that. So please understand the infrastructure requirements. What is the schedule like? And so on. The assessment, like I mentioned before, is completely online. You can take it from anywhere, but you need a computer or a mobile with a front facing camera in order to take this. So, like I mentioned, we do video proctoring. So, your camera and your microphone will have to be on throughout the 2 hours of the test. You will need a computer with the working camera and mic, or the mobile with the front camera and mic. Once we had this person who didn't have a front camera and so weren't able to take the test. So make sure that your front camera is working. Of course, you will need a stable internet connection. Everything is happening over the internet these days, so you will need an internet connection. The minimum download speed should be around 500 kbps, which is really less. So most smartphones with a good stable internet connection should work. Minimum 3G connection. If you don't have 4G, don't worry, it works on 3G as well. You should have sufficient data available though. All the test takers, they receive an email 24 hours before the test date with all the instructions, demo video for using the platform. So please go through the instructions that are sent to you on mail, read it properly, understand it, and that will basically tell you everything that you need to know for the test. It will tell you the schedule, it will tell you your system requirements, it will tell you what you should and should not do while the test is going on. So please ensure that you read it and that you're completely 100% prepared. Whatever you need to check for your device as well should be done before the test date and not on the day of the test. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, which is the format. And this is we get a lot of queries regarding the format, so I'll quickly walk you through it. As I already mentioned, I'll be focusing only on the prelims and not on the finals for now, because first you need to clear the prelims in order to qualify for the finals. So how the prelims work, I've already told you, it's a 2-hour test in which you will be asked 50 multiple choice questions and 2 videos. So it's a total of 100 marks. It's divided between these two sections, the multiple choice questions and the video section. Multiple choice questions, there will be 15 number and it will be of 75 marks. It will test you on your subject expertise, of which there will be 25 questions and it will be on 40 marks. So, for example, if you have taken up secondary physics, you'll be asked questions regarding secondary physics in that. And then you will of course be quizzed on your pedagogical content knowledge and teaching practices. So whether you're able to understand your students, how do you do student assessment remediation, how do you go about doing online teaching, these are the kind of pedagogical questions that you'll be quizzed on. And of course, there are the pedagogical content knowledge questions are 20 in number and are of 30 marks. And the last part is the communication skills. We all know as a teacher, it's imperative that we know how to communicate well. So there will be some questions on communication skills as well, 5 in number of 5 marks. So that's how the multiple choice questions are structured. Now, this okay, the center team is posting how you can get a discount if you want to register for the TPO along with the TPO registration link. So all of those who want to register for the TPO and want to get a discount, please click on the link and you can use the I want discount code to get the discount. Now, I'll quickly come to the next part, which is the video assessment part. The video assessment part is about half an hour long. It is continuous with the MCQ part, so do not leave your device after you finish the MCQ part. Please remain seated and continue with the video assessment part, in which there are only 2 questions and total it's of 25 marks. So the first question is specific to your subject. So for example, if I teach physics, I'll be asked something regarding physics. It may not require very in depth knowledge, but if it will definitely require knowledge of physics. So it is subject specific. The second video is subject agnostic. So it is not testing about how much you know about physics or maths or any other subject that you have chosen to take the track in. It will only see how well you're able to communicate. So you might be asked to kind of in fact enact how you would be in a class, how you would deal with a certain situation in class. That is what the 2 questions on video are all about. And for this part, you also get time to record and practice. There's half an hour for 2 video submissions, which are each of 5 minutes. So do not worry that, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to record it on the spot. You will get ample time to record, maybe even re-record it and practice before you actually make the submission. So this is all about the format. I'll quickly go over it once again. There are 50 MCQ questions and 2 video submissions. The total test is about 100 marks and it's 2 hours long continuously. The multiple choice questions are 50 in number and of 75 marks, in which you'll be quizzed on subject expertise, pedagogical knowledge, as well as your communication skills. The video assessment has 2 questions, is of 25 marks long, and will quiz you on both subject specific question as well as subject agnostic. So this is how the TPO prelims are structured. We'll next go on to discuss about how we can prepare for this. So how you can prepare is, it's not like you have to read some book like you did for preparation for a competitive exam like IIT JEE or NEET or anything like that. No, you all are teachers who are teaching every day. Many of you will be experienced, many of you will be just starting out, but all of you have the basic knowledge that is required to answer this test. I myself, when I took up the test, I did not prepare for it at all. But many of the teachers want to prepare, and that's an excellent sign. So, how you can prepare is simply through a few reflection questions. We also have the syllabus on our website, so you can go through the syllabus and make sure that your content knowledge is up to the mark. But what we love for you to actually think while you're preparing is what you're teaching, why is it important, how you can be introducing concepts and topics in interesting manners, how you can ensure students understand it well, and how you can judge or assess their understanding, how you can convey it all properly. So these are some of the things that you can think of, and basically this is self reflection that you're doing of your own teaching practices. So you can do a self reflection, or you can even sit with a peer and you can discuss with them I remember when I was teaching, our peers would come and observe our class and then give us feedback, and then we'd actually reflect on how the class went. That was a very useful way of improving our own teaching and pedagogical knowledge. So that is something maybe you can engage in. But other than that, we've got a lot of free learning resources and webinars on My Center, so please do check them out. We've also got a sample questions archive on My Center. So, of course, I'll be taking you through some of the sample questions today, but the sample questions archive on My Center is it's quite vast, and it will give you an insight into all types of questions that are asked in the TPO. So please do go through that. That will help you prepare for the CENTA TPO. I'll now move on to the third part of my webinar, and that is the school leaders track. From this year onwards, we have introduced a new track which is called the school leaders track. Anyone who is currently a school leader or an aspiring school leader, maybe you're a principal or an assistant school leader or a coordinator or a vice principal, all of you who aspire to be a school leader or already are a school leader can participate in this school leaders track. It's a finals only track, that means there are no prelims. So whatever I just told you was for the prelims of the TPO, but for this particular track, there are no prelims, right? And additionally, this year we have made it free for everyone who is registering through Bangalore Sahodaya. So if you're registering for the school leaders track, which is a finals only track, and the test will be held on 30th January 2022, there's no registration fee associated with this particular track if you are coming and registering through BSSC. Now you will ask, what is it that you assess us on? Is it some particular subject or grade? No, we are not going to assess you on any particular subject or grade, but we will rather assess you on key skills and functions of a school leader. So that could be maybe how you handle communication with the parent and different stakeholders, how you maybe go about doing teacher recruitment, or how you engage in continuous professional development for your teachers, how you're structuring the plan for your school and its activities throughout the year. So all of these are various things in which you'll be assessed on. It's going to be more oriented towards coaching and leadership skills rather than pedagogical or content knowledge. There will be aspects of that as well, but the focus will be more on leadership skills. Yes, Sangeeta. Sangeeta has asked if we have subject specific syllabus for TPO. We do. For the different subject tracks, there are different syllabus. Of course, for in English, you'll have a different syllabus than for maths, and the syllabus can be found on My Center. So please go on My Center and find the syllabus for your respective subject grade track. We'll now move on to the last part of our webinar, which is the sample questions. I'll quickly take you through some of the sample questions that we may ask in the CENTA TPO. Please remember, these are just sample questions. It's not an exhaustive list. It's not like all the questions will be exactly like this. There will be a lot of variations, but this will give you a fair bit of idea as to what kind of questions come in the CENTA TPO. So the first question we have on screen is a subject expertise English question. And in that, you've got four options in which the word like has been used. You need to identify the sentence in which like is used as a preposition. So I would love for the teachers who are participating in the webinar to type out the responses in the comments section. I would love to see what you all think, which is the correct answer. Once we have got a few responses, I'll move on to the answer itself. I'll read out the options for those of you who may not be able to see it. The first option A is he looks like his father. B, she looked like she was about to burst. C, I would like to visit him sometime next week. And D, the conference was a chance to meet like-minded people. Which of these four options uses the word like as a preposition? Okay, I've got one response from Sangeeta Bhattacharji who says it is A. Very good, Sangeeta. I would love for more of you to participate and tell us what you think is the right answer. Okay, a lot of people have written A. Okay, I think unanimously everyone has voted A, and you all are right. He looks like his father is the correct answer. In option B, you will see like is used as a conjunction, whereas option C, like is a verb, and like is an adjective in option D. So that's something, I mean, I personally didn't know you can use one single word in so many different ways, in so many different forms. So, but then I'm not an English teacher. So kudos to all the English teachers out there who have to teach the students all of this. Okay, I'll go on to the next question. The question is related to maths. So I'll just leave it on my screen. It's a fairly long question, so I'm not going to read it out. I would love for all of you to maybe go through it, and then for all the maths teachers out there, maybe tell us which do you think is the correct answer. I'll read out the options though. I'll give you a minute to first go through the question, and then I'll read out the options, and you all can tell me which is the correct answer. I honestly, so there's something about building a pyramid here, and something about volume of stones. What would happen the volume of stones used in this skewed pyramid? There are four options. You don't really need to do any calculations for this, as many would think that okay, it's a long question, maybe I need to do some calculation. It's more of a conceptual question. So I mean, since most of you answered A on, I'm assuming it's for the second one as well. So I'll go ahead to the second answer, and all of you are correct. It is A. It should be same as the original pyramid because it can't be less. The height doesn't decrease, no impact on volume. Height doesn't increase, so no impact on volume, and volume is not related to slant. So if the pyramid becomes a little skewed or slanted, uh, yes, DP has asked me to read the question. Thank you, DP. I'll read the question from now onwards. So I'll read out question number 3, which is on your screen. Question 3 is Ahmed is going to teach his class 7 students about the properties of soil. Which would be the most appropriate learning objective addressing conceptual understanding of the topic? So somebody wants to teach their students about soil, and what is the objective they should decide to address conceptual understanding of the topic. The four options, answer options are students can identify the kind of soil that various given crops grow in. B, students can identify the layer of soil to which a given sample belongs. C, students can list the different types of soil. And D, students can make a model of layers of soil. So would love to see what the teachers think and what is the answer. Okay, Swapna says it's B. Interesting. Waiting for a few more responses till I go on to the next one. Would like to hear what everybody else thinks. If you're teaching your kids about soil and you want them to have a conceptual understanding, what is the objective that you'll choose? Okay, so Preet has also chosen B, Swati has chosen D, Vidya has chosen B. Great, thank you for sharing your responses. Let's see the answer. The correct answer is students can with option B. The first one, in which students identify the kind of soil, there's no conceptual understanding. List the different types of soil. It's basically memorization. It's not anything related to conceptual understanding. And if you create a model of the different layers of soil, that is again a visual representation, but might not necessarily lead to conceptual understanding. So if you want them to understand you will tell them to identify the layer of soil to which a given sample belongs. Okay, I seem to. Okay, Jaya Pradhan has written voice is not audible. Once you're able to hear me, please let me know. Not audible. Okay. Okay. Even if okay, I'm really sorry. My network is giving me a bit of issue. I hope all of you are able to hear and see me now. Okay. At least I hope you're being able to see the screen that I'm sharing, which has the fourth question of science. So I'll just read it out for you. Okay, I can see the CENTA team has also posted about the audio issues. Video is paused. Okay, maybe I'll try turning off my cam so that all of you can at least see the screen and hear my voice and maybe go through the fourth question. Please don't worry if you're not able to see all the questions. You can go through the question archive later. I have switched off my video so that all of you can at least hear me and see the screen. So the fourth question on science is a student says each specialized cell will make a specialized DNA. For example, neurons will have a specialized DNA, which makes it different from a red blood cell. Which of the following analogies would you use to clarify the student's misconception? So you can see that the student has a misconception. You have four different options, and which is the analogy that you can use to clarify the student's misconception? Option A is an actor reading his part from a master movie script. Option B, an actor reading his dialogues from a portion of the script containing only his scenes. Option C, an actor reading from a script showing his lines while other actor lines are blacked out. And D, an actor reading characters based on a match between physical descriptors. So, all the science teachers, please let us know the answer. I myself do not know, so I will not be able to tell you. But those of you who know, okay, I can see Pushpa Lata has written B, so has Supreet Kaur, Swati Das says C, and Daksh Yadav says D. Okay, let's see what the answer is. The answer is actually C, which would be an actor reading from a script showing his lines, while other actors' lines are blacked out. So, this is a very subject specific question. You will require a very deep understanding of the content that you're teaching, which would be biology in this case, in order to be able to answer this question. So, like I mentioned earlier, we have subject specific tracks. So, if you're choosing a track in science, you should have good content knowledge in science, and that is exactly what this question is trying to understand about you. Next, we'll go on to question number 5. This is the last question that I'll show. After that, I'll quickly take a few minutes for any questions that you teachers or school leaders might have before we close the session out. So question number 5 is: the student identifies that 5 on 10 is smaller than 15 on 30. Which of the following on its own is the best way to remediate this misconception? So you can see that a student is confused about a certain thing. He thinks 5 on 10 is smaller than 15 on 30. How will you remediate this misconception? So option A is that you reduce the fractions to the lowest form. Option B is that you reduce by dividing numerator and denominator by 3. Option C, you show the mapping between two sets of everyday objects in the ratio of 1:2. And option D, you represent both fractions on a scale of unit length using 10 and 30 equal parts respectively. So would love to see what are the answers to this question. I can see Huma Parveen has typed out D, Swapnam and Dushyant say it's C. Minatoon Nessa also says it's C. Okay. Uh, Somebody has asked for the attendance link. Yes, Umang, don't worry. We will be posting the attendance link in the chat. Bharat Kumar also says it's C. Okay, let's see the answer. The answer is actually the last option, which is representing both fractions on a scale of unit length using 10 and 30 equal parts respectively. So you can also see why the first three options are not correct, because if you simply lower the fractions to their lowest form, uh, it's just a reiteration of procedure and you need to explain the rationale behind the procedure, right? But in the option C, this over here, you are not addressing the misconception because two concrete objects are used. But the last one, in which you actually show it on a scale, that will be really helpful for the students to understand, okay, even if I make 10 divisions or 30 divisions and choose 5 out of 10 or 15 out of 30, it's basically equal in length. So C, okay, somebody has asked why not C. You can see the misconception is not being addressed in C because you're using two concrete objects. You have to use the same object in order to address the misconception. So I'll quickly stop the sample questions here because I think we're close to 6 o'clock and I'd like to take up a few questions if any of you have questions. Also, I had a few questions on communication, but you can go through it later on my CENTA website. So my CENTA, as I've already mentioned, has an repository of sample questions. Please go through that. That will help you understand what kind of questions we ask in TPO and also help you prepare for the TPO. I'll quickly close out now. We'll be posting the link for the feedback in the chat. Please use the link. The webinar code is 6619. So please go on the link. You will be asked the webinar code, so you can type out 6619. The CENTA team will be posting the link in the chat. And please share your feedback for this session. Now, if you have any questions, I think I have time to take up a couple of questions. So you can post your questions if you have any of them on the chat, and I'll try and take them up before we close out the session. Okay, Vaishnavi has written that she is unable to register in the link. No problem, Vaishnavi. Just go to our My CENTA page. It's a very simple link. It's called centa.org/TPO2021. So you can simply click on that link. You can type it out in your browser if it's not working, and you can then register for the TPO. So you can even Google it. If nothing else works, just Google TPO 2021 and you should be able to go through to our webpage and register for the TPO there. So don't worry if this above link is not working. You should be able to find it on Google. Okay, any other questions before we close out? Attendance link, please. The CENTA team is going to post the attendance link in the chat. I'd request the CENTA team to kindly post it. And then you should be able to access it. Otherwise, in case you haven't gotten it on the chat, you can find it in on my screen. It's survey.zohoppublic.com/zs/yab3eb. Yes, Adamya, we are posting it. The CENTA team will be sharing the link in the chat. Don't worry. Any last questions before we close out? No? Okay, I think everybody is ready to submit the feedback. Would love to hear all your feedback. The center team will be posting it in the chat. I'd request Piyush, if you're there, can you please post the link in the chat? Thank you. Okay, I'll quickly close out now. I hope to see a lot of you, if not all, participating in TPO 2021. The last day to register for the TPO prelims is tomorrow. So please hurry up and register. There's a special discount for Bangalore Sahodaya. You can use the discount code I want discount, and you should be able to get it at a discounted price. Thank you for participating, for engaging in this session, and for sitting through it and being so engaging. Okay, there's some people who still haven't gotten the link. Okay, we'll try. I think there's some technical issue because of which it hasn't been posted. I'll make sure that it's posted as soon as possible. My team is actively trying to post the link in the chat. Meanwhile, Swati has asked where we can get TPO mock questions. Swati, you can access it in the learning resources section on my CENTA. Okay. The webinar code is on the screen. It is 6619. The link is also on the screen. I'm sorry we haven't been able to post it on the chat. We are trying to as soon as possible. Okay. So thank you everyone. Thank you for participating and engaging with us. It was lovely to interact with all of you. And please go check out our webpage centa.org/TPO2021 and register for it as soon as possible. We will close out the session now. And yes, don't worry, if you haven't already got the link, we will share it. I'm really sorry for the delay. Okay, for those of you who didn't get the link, it's now been posted on the chat, the feedback link. Sorry for the delay. We'll close out now. Piyush, if you could please close out the session. Thank you, everyone. We look forward to your participation in TPO 2021. Thank you.